transfer talk, Herc, shall we? Jonathan David, the Canadian international, long linked with a move away from Lille in France. Well, according to Football Transfers, David, who's 23 years old, is being pursued by both Manchester United and Aston Villa out of the Premier League. Herc, which English club would be better for Jonathan David?
Let me just say, it does not surprise me that Jonathan David is being linked to these two teams. He's been linked to the Arsenals of the world, the Atleticos of the world, the big teams of the world for quite some time, Spurs, if you will. So
you say that his form isn't what it was a year ago. It does surprise me a little bit.
Does that have a little to do with Lille? That could have a little to do with Lille, right? This is a good player. So what team is better for him? Jonathan David. Stay away from Manchester United. Stay away from the toxicity that is Manchester United, that is Erik ten Hag, that is the Glazers at the moment. Go as far away as possible as you can. Now, Aston Villa, wow. Now you have, you had my curiosity, but now you have my full attention. Let me throw out some names for you, okay? Leon Bailey. Leon Bailey is a great case of what Unai Emery and Aston Villa have been able to do for the player. Under his previous two coaches at Aston Villa, you could say a fracaso. Wasn't doing well. Wasn't the hype, the promise that you saw at Leverkusen.
They paid big money for him.
And they paid big money for him. Well, now with Unai Emery, we're seeing a player blossom under Unai Emery, blossom under Aston Villa. And what does Unai Emery ask of his nine? You have to have the ability to stretch the back line. But when you don't stretch it, come underneath and act as a 10, act as a playmaker, be good with the ball, facilitate. That is Jonathan David. Jonathan David in this system can flourish. Jonathan David, with the direction of an Unai Emery, can be a prime player for that team, a big player eventually in the Premier League. I absolutely love this move for Jonathan David if it were to transpire.
Be honest with me, Herc.
All right.
You're a player.
When have I not been honest with you?
You've been pretty honest, I would say, over the course of the history of this show. Manchester United, despite the fact that they're a dumpster fire, a disaster,
no,
whatever you want to call it, comes across your desk. You're really saying no?
It takes three to tango in football. It takes the club to sell you, it takes you to accept it, and it takes somebody to want you to buy you. It takes three. So it's got to be the perfect storm, and it's very difficult to say no to a team like Manchester United. But if all three of these scenarios were controlled, I would pick Aston Villa for Jonathan David. I'm a Manchester United fan at heart. That's one of the first teams I've ever supported. You know, once a week in the States, we'd get one channel in the Premier League, and it was in the late 1900s, early 2000s.
You're so old!
Yeah. And it was Manchester United. It was that treble team. It was that famous class. It was Sir Alex Ferguson. It was an unbelievable experience, and it was the brand of Manchester United. That
Jonathan David's much younger than you, buddy.
That brand is cheapened. And that ambiance, that atmosphere is toxic. I would really double think. I would think twice about going to a place like Manchester United over Aston Villa.